Henry stared in awe at 2 jars of water. One was clear, vibrant, and full of life. The other was cloudy, dark, and lifeless. Henry's life wasn't going great. He was stuck in a job he hated, surrounded by people who didn't respect him. And worst of all, he was his own biggest critic. Every mistake was met with harsh words. "You're useless. You'll never succeed. Why even bother?" These words haunted him daily, echoing in his mind until they felt like truth. But what Henry didn't realize was that these words weren't just thoughts. They were actively shaping his reality. The experiment that changed everything. One night, while scrolling aimlessly online, Henry stumbled upon a video about Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiment. Dr. Emoto claimed that words could physically alter water's structure. In his experiment, he labeled jars of water with positive and negative words. To the positive jars, people said things like, "Thank you," and "I love you." To the negative jars, they said hateful phrases like "you're stupid" and "I hate you." When examined under a microscope, the results were astonishing. Positive words. The water crystals formed beautiful, symmetrical patterns resembling snowflakes. Negative words. The crystals were broken, disfigured, and chaotic. Henry couldn't believe it. If words could do that to water, what were they doing to him? After all, his body was 70% water. The dark side of negative words. After watching Water Experiment, Henry couldn't stop thinking, what if I had never discovered this? What if I kept calling myself a failure, a loser, or an idiot? What would my life look like in the long run? The science was clear. 1. Permanent neural pathways of negativity. The brain has a feature called neuroplasticity, meaning it rewires itself based on repeated behaviors and thoughts. Negative self-talk strengthens neural pathways that focus on fear, doubt, and failure. Over time, this becomes your default mindset. Henry realized this was why every small mistake felt like proof that he was worthless. It was a pattern his brain had learned. 2. Increased stress levels. Negative words trigger the amygdala, the brain's fear center, releasing cortisol. Chronic exposure to cortisol can cause fatigue, weakened immune system memory issues, and inability to focus. No wonder I've been so tired and scattered lately, Henry thought. His body was in constant stress mode, all because of his words. 3. Self-fulfilling prophecy. When you tell yourself, "I'll never succeed," you unconsciously avoid opportunities that could prove otherwise. This is called a self-fulfilling prophecy. Henry thought back to times when he skipped applying for promotions or avoided challenges. It wasn't because he lacked ability. It was because his words had convinced him he would fail. 4. Impact on relationships. Constant negativity doesn't just harm you, it pushes others away. When Henry was constantly down on himself, his friends found it draining to be around him. Relationships require positivity and mutual support, which negativity erodes over time. 5. Physical damage. The human body, being 70% water, responds to negative words at a cellular level, much like Dr. Emoto's water jars. This means chronic self-criticism can contribute to faster aging, higher risk of heart disease, chronic illnesses due to prolonged stress, a glimpse into the future. Henry imagined a future where he never broke free from negative self-talk. At 40, he's still stuck in the same dead-end job, convinced he's not good enough for anything better. At 50, his health begins to decline, with stress-related illnesses taking their toll. At 60, he looks back on a life of missed opportunities, realizing his biggest enemy wasn't the world, it was his own words. This realization shook Henry to his core. He didn't want to live that life. He had the power to change his words, and by doing so, change his future. The moment of realization. One morning, after failing at work again, Henry whispered to himself, "I'm such an idiot." But what if those words weren't just meaningless thoughts? What if they were poisoning his mind and body? What happened next shocked him to the core. The experiment at home. Henry decided to try the experiment himself. He filled 2 jars with water, labeling one "I'm amazing" and the other "I'm worthless." For a week, he spoke to each jar daily, repeating the respective phrases. At the end of the week, the results were undeniable. The "I'm amazing" jar remained clear and pure, almost glowing. The "I'm worthless" jar turned murky with visible discoloration. This wasn't just a gimmick, it was a wake-up call. Henry realized that every negative word he said to himself was like speaking poison into his very being. The science of words and self-talk. Intrigued, Henry dove deeper into the science of self-talk. 1. Words affect your cells. Just like in the water experiment, human cells react to words and emotions. Negative thoughts release stress hormones like cortisol, damaging cells over time. 2. Positive words. Rewire your brain. Positive affirmations strengthen neural pathways, improving mood, focus, and resilience. 3. You are 70% water. The human body, being mostly water, responds to words much like the jars in Dr. Emoto's experiment. What you say to yourself directly impacts your physical and mental health. Henry's transformation. The next day, Henry made a vow. No more bad words about himself. Instead, he started every morning with these affirmations. I am worthy. I am improving every day. I have the power to succeed. At first, it felt strange, even silly. But soon, Henry noticed changes. 1. Increased confidence. He stopped second-guessing himself and started taking risks at work. 2. Better health. His energy improved, and he no longer felt drained by stress. 3. Stronger relationships. Speaking kindly to himself made him kinder to others, improving his personal and professional connections. A new experiment. Speaking life. Henry wanted to share his discovery, so he created a challenge for his friends. For 1 month, they replaced negative self-talk with positive affirmations. The results were astonishing. One friend who had struggled with anxiety said she felt calmer and more focused. Another, who had been stuck in a toxic relationship, finally found the courage to leave and start fresh. Henry realized that changing your words doesn't just change your mind. It changes your life. The ripple effect of words. Your words are powerful. If they can change water, imagine what they can do to you. The next time you're tempted to say something bad about yourself, stop and ask, would I say this to my best friend? Speak life into yourself and watch your world transform. The challenge for the audience. Henry ends with a challenge. For 1 week, try replacing every negative thought with a positive one. Write down 3 affirmations and say them every morning. At the end of the week, notice how you feel. Share your story, because your words might inspire someone else to change their life.